Thanks again for joining us. Please visit unityandlinwood.org for a preview of all upcoming classes, services, and events, and for an opportunity to make a gift to our community should you so choose. Thank you.
And not only are they that talented, they're incredibly kind people. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being with us. And plus, I love hanging out with people their age. Makes me feel like I'm 50 again. So in Unity Basics, we got together, we explored the nature of reality. We explored the nature of this great all that is that we would call God. We explored what it means to be a human navigating within that great all that is. We talked about this creative center that exists at the core of humanity. We might call it consciousness. We talked about the fact that we are capable of growing this consciousness. We talked about prayer. We talked about meditation. We grappled with the enduring questions of eons. And we recognized everyone last week for having done so successfully, except for one person who has graciously extended his forgiveness and agreed to be recognized for his completion this morning. Will you acknowledge Michael Smith, please? It's a new format. It's a lunch concert. If you have registered for a brown bag lunch, you will find that lunch somewhere in this building. It will have your name written on it, and that name has been written by our children who decorated your lunch for you. If you have not yet registered for lunch and you would like to attend the afternoon concert, there are some lunches available. Please register at the Welcome and Information Station. And if you choose to come to the concert and do not desire lunch, please come. Please come. All are welcome. You are not required to eat at Unity in Linwood. Would you join me in just offering a final thank you to Cheryl Jones for the talent show on Friday evening, please? It's been written that it's the most sacred and experiential service of the year. It includes beautiful music, a foot washing ritual, and that's from us to you, by the way, not the other way around. I will not be asking anyone to wash my feet. And if you're toe shy, it's not a requirement. Don't worry, you may still attend. A foot washing ritual, physical communion, candle lighting, and a 12 powers meditation. It's our Holy Thursday service. Please consider joining us. It will begin at 7 o'clock p.m. on March 29th. Every service at Unity in Linwood has an ambassador. This person's role is to support you in your exploration and discovery of this evolving, unfolding divine idea we call Unity in Linwood. So if you have a question about who we are, about what we believe, what we teach, about what is available to you in that exploration, you're welcome to engage her in conversation, that they may have a face to put with a name. Nan Allen, would you wave to these kind people, please? The words are those of Charles Fillmore. If you feel so inclined, please feel free to join me in stating his invocation. I am now in the presence of pure being. And immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power. O blessed Spirit. In your divine wisdom, now remove my mortal limitations, and from your pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world, according to your perfect law. We met in the mid-1980s in Overland Park, Kansas. They were set to retire, I believe, in Arkansas, was it? And there was something that said no. And while they will humbly deny this, they have since gone forth to directly impact the lives of millions of people on our planet. We sent a contingency of 12 to Tanzania, Africa in 2015 to partner with International Health Partners Tanzania in the building of a children's hospital and orphanage, a birthing center. And they are back this morning as the co-founders of that organization to share a message, to offer thanks, to extend an invitation, and to discuss possibilities. Would you welcome our dear friends, Dr. Denny and Paula Lofstrom, please?
If you want to go first, I'll let you go last this time.
I had a very wise Irish grandfather, and he told me at one time, he said, "Denny, you always want to have the last word." He says, "I always do." He said, "Grandma tells me what to do, and I say, okay."
I'll remember to give him the last word. Okay. Thank you for having us back to Unity in Linwood. It does feel indeed like coming home again. We have known Richard for 30-some years. We met at Unity in Overland Park. Denny and I were married by Mary Omwick at Unity. I want to talk to you this morning about some of the problems and challenges that life throws at us. Not that any of you have ever had any, of course. What happened to my notes? Oh, there they are. We're building now our third hospital project in Tanzania. This one is a pediatric hospital. There are 22 million children in Tanzania under the age of 15, and no pediatric hospital to serve them. And there are only 26 pediatricians in the entire country. So we do have a challenge before us. Now, when we first started this 16 years ago, we were asked to go to Iambi Hospital for 10 weeks. It was a hospital. Denny was a medical missionary in Tanzania from 1958 to 1962. You can do the math, okay. And at that time, he was at Kiamboi Hospital, but near that was Iambi Hospital. And Iambi Hospital had been a leprosarium. And then with the advent of DDS, diethyl dimethyl sulfone, that arrested leprosy, then the hospital became a general hospital. And when the Lutheran missionaries were asked to leave the country when at the end of colonialism, and they did, the government took over the hospital and it didn't fare well. Okay. So we were asked to come back and see what could be done to rehabilitate the hospital. In a 10-week survey, the challenge was to find out if it was needed, what was there, and if it was worth rehabilitating, what would it cost? Well, it served 175,000 people, so yes, it was needed. It had pretty much gone down the tubes, and when we got there, they were seeing 2 or 3 patients a day, and in a 170-bed hospital, they had 3 inpatients. And by the time we'd been there a little over a month, we were seeing 100 patients a day. And at the end of 4 years, we were seeing 110 patients a day, and we had 60 to 80% occupancy. When we first got there, there was no electricity and no water. Try running a hospital when you can't flush the toilets, folks. But there was a well down about, I don't know, honey, what was about a mile? Mile, a little over. down to the well, from the well to the hospital. Challenge. Solution. Get the water from there up to here. Okay. And so the well had been, and the windmill had been put in by the Australians many, many years ago. So we found a water engineer. His name was Samueli, and he came up and got the thing running again and taught the people how to grease the cups and keep the thing going. But the problem was there was no pipe from the hospital to the well. And so we spoke with the village, and they said, okay, we'll do a line of sight here, all right? And every family in the village was assigned so many meters that they had to dig to put the pipe in. And there were a lot of families that were leprosy families, so they couldn't dig. But only the families with able-bodied people were asked to do this. And it took about 3 weeks, and we had a line. And so we had a pipe up to the hospital. We had water that we shared with the entire community. Now, interestingly, there was a pastoralist there. There was a herdsman. And one day, they came up to the house and said to me, Mama, Mama, there's no water, there's no water. All right, let's go see what the problem is. Well, he was down towards the well, and he discovered that he could make a wonderful pond of water for his cattle. All he had to do was hack into that pipe, you know. We had a little conversation with him about that. Little prayer. Don't let me say this, you know. And then while we were there, the people that we trained in felt ready to take the hospital over. We had written a 5-year redevelopment plan, and at the 4-year mark, they said, you know, we're ready and anxious. And we said, okay, fine, we'll go back to Arkansas and retire. That would have been our 5th try. But within 3 months, or 3 days, we got requests from 6 different bishops around the country and the CSSC, which is the Christian Social Services Commission, to please don't go. You people know what you're doing. There's so much need. Let us, you know, help you find some place to serve and all this. And we were offered 13 projects, and we chose 6 to look at. And then we chose Mwanza as the place of most need, with the infrastructure there that we needed to build a hospital. There was a building that could be converted to a clinic. There was a house for us to live in, and there was 32 acres of land. So over 6 years, we built Nyakato Health Center. And at the 6-year mark, we had 122,000 active charts. But while we were there, we realized, we tumbled to this thing that there was no pediatric care and no pediatricians. And so we started buying the land down at Zinga. It was an astonishing thing to just buy dirt. The challenge was, how do you get the people, how do you go from here? We had $35 and a lot of faith. All right? And now we are building the pediatric hospital at Zinga. And that's been with the help of this community and the help of you people coming out. And we want to get some more. Because you know what happens when you come to Tanzania? You get Tanzophilia. And you have to keep coming back. Is that not right? Some of those people in here, you know that. And we've certainly had our challenges. We had to build roads, dig wells for water. Now we have electricity, but it's not real. We have solar backup for our electricity. Yes, we have challenges. But let's talk about what Jesus did when Jesus had challenges. What did Jesus do first? Anytime Jesus had a challenge, what did he do first? Right. He took it to prayer. How often do you guys do that? Mm-hmm. You know, Jesus never came from lack. Jesus only came from a place of love. Now let's talk about the story of the loaves and the fishes. Okay, you all know that story. Okay. Now, I'm married to a Scandinavian back here. And I figured this out a long time ago. Okay, the loaves and the fishes. The fish was lutefisk. Okay. And one little bite, and they said, "That's all I can stand, Lord. Thank you very much."
She really underestimates the importance of lutefisk.
Yeah. That was his mother's biggest disappointment in me. But let's talk about what Jesus really did. There were some baskets of loaves and fishes. And he didn't start saying, okay, now if we give so much to so much to so much. Because the people were coming and coming and coming to hear what he had to say. And it was hot and they were hungry. And so he took what was there and he started out with it. And he started giving it away. And the people back there said, "You know, George, we did bring those extra sandwiches. We can share those. We can take them in half." And someone over here said, "Well, you know, we brought some of that yogurt." And somebody back there had some wine. And we discovered that what God gave us was each other. That what we have, we share. And it's always enough. When you give what you have, as their song said, "You take and I will give." And you can never outgive God. Now, my mother was a psychologist. And she was a pretty practical woman. And she said, "You know, I won't truck with anybody that's not willing to right themselves well. Because when we are faced with psychological challenges, it's a lot of work to get over them. It really is. You have to be willing to do that work. You have to invite God in your life to support you to say, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be comfortable in my pain anymore. I'm going to go forward." There was a book written once called Women Who Love Too Much. And in the back of that book were some tools for how to, shall we say, adjust your attitude and to help you go forward. And so we've rewritten those just a little bit, and we're going to make them into a letter to God. It's 6 steps. The first step in your letter to God is, "God, this is what happened," okay? Because you're not going to be writing this when you're just ever so thankful for everything, okay? This is problems and challenges, all right? So you write to God and you tell him exactly what happened, okay? From your point of view. Okay, you can write it out. And then the second step is, "This is what I think," okay? Now, we all know as loving parents that there are times when you deny your child something, that child will respond with, "I hate you." Well, we have a heavenly Father, a heavenly Mother that says, "I love you even when you're angry with me." And so that second part here is, "This is what I think, God. I think this wasn't fair. I think that I didn't deserve this. I think that you," and you can even tell God what you think he should do about it, okay? And the third step is, "This is what I feel." Because your feelings are important. You own your feelings, and they are important. And you can share them with God and say, "I didn't deserve this. I think I feel that I was wronged, and I'm angry, and I'm hurt, and I'm disgusted," and so forth and so on. You can let it all out. Then the fourth step is the harder one for me in this letter to God. "This is what I want. God, my Father, my Mother, I want to be on your path. I want to do your work. I want to serve the way you want me to serve. I want to be your light in the world." The fifth thing is, "This is what I will do." Dear God, I will not step out on my own. I will ask first. I will think first. I will ask for your blessings. I will do your will in your way. This is what I will do. And the last thing, number 6, is this is what I will not do. I will not go off on my own without thinking first. I will not apply my solution without asking for your solution first. I will not forget that Jesus showed us the way. And when you've written down all those 6 things, you pretty much got it knocked. Okay? And you don't have to write them in order, folks. Okay? God and I have had some pretty long letters. But you know, Jesus taught us that the help you need is always at hand. It starts by faith, backed up with prayer. Joy is the presence of God, and the presence of God is always where you start. I'm going to read one more little bit. It's an admonition from Mother Teresa. People are often unreasonable, illogic, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish or ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone can destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, others may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you have anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Someone wants the last word.
This is really very unusual for me to get this last word. I want to invite you all out afterwards to the fellowship hall to see what we have to offer for you from our friends out in Africa. They have made many artifacts, carvings, and wood carvings and all. We have those for sale, and they're very proud to be helping us build the hospital by contributing this to our work. So we invite you all to come out there. Thank you very much.
Thanks again for joining us. Please visit unityandlinwood.org for a preview of all upcoming classes, services, and events, and for an opportunity to make a gift to our community should you so choose. Thank you.